Mitch Roschelle is with us, finance expert and chief strategy officer at Madison Venture Plus. Mitch, good morning to you. Let's go through some Tariffs 101 to start things off. What do tariffs do? How do they work?
Pretty simple. Let's use auto parts for a second. In Canada, we import into the United States about $11 billion a year worth of auto parts, things you may not even realize are even in your car. But right now, if there's a tariff imposed on that, they just got 25% more expensive, which means that the auto companies in the United States aren't going to eat that cost. They're going to pass that along to the consumer. So what happens? Cars become $3,000 more expensive. So basically a tariff is a tax that's imposed when something crosses the border from one country to another. And who pays for it? The consumer.
And now we've got reverse tariffs, so retaliatory action. How might that work? And they don't necessarily cancel one another out.
No, and the notion of reciprocal tariffs, not retaliatory, but reciprocal. If a country is charging a 15% or a 50% tariff on something, it sort of makes sense for the other country to have similar reciprocal tariffs, which is where Trump wanted to go in the first place. There are tariffs imposed all around the globe on U.S. imported goods. So he was just trying to balance things out. But what's happening now with our neighbors to the north and the south, it's not a reciprocal tariff because there wasn't one. It's a retaliatory tariff trying to get us to stop what we're doing. At the end of the day, I think that this is a negotiation. It's Trump's art of the deal. Impose some pain, get them to retaliate with some pain so that we can sit down and discuss how to do this rationally.
And perhaps that's right. This is a strategy and we'll see these reverse. But in the meantime, what are the items where people could see the most increase and how soon might they see that effect?
I don't think it's so soon. And to define soon for a second, you heard the president talk about auto manufacturers building cars in the United States, and you had the story about Honda. It takes 3 years to get a auto plant up and running. So I don't know how we're going to work that out in transition. But in the short run, I think the thing that everybody needs to focus on is steel and aluminum. I think as it relates to Canada, this is really all about steel and aluminum and how the U.S. steel and aluminum industry has really suffered greatly over the last several years. And I think Trump has a lot of support from those states that manufacture steel and aluminum. So he's trying to get that back on its feet. But as it relates to the consumer, you've seen what's happened with egg prices, right? For a while, McDonald's didn't have a surcharge on their Egg McMuffin. Now there's a 25 or 35% surcharge on the Egg McMuffin. So it doesn't take long when the underlying cost of an item in the supply chain gets more expensive for the consumer to start feeling it.
And Mitch, in all of this, what's likely to happen with interest rates?
I think interest rates, my best advice to anybody on interest rates is wherever they are now is probably where they're going to be at the end of the year. The Fed, who has control over interest rates to some degree, may see all of these tariffs as inflationary and may change some of their thinking about interest rates. However, I think everybody realizes that this is part of the negotiation. We saw in the Trump 45 administration the threat of tariffs and the use of tariffs to get another country to the table for negotiation. So I don't think the Fed's going to intervene on interest rates as a result of tariffs. And I think interest rates are going to remain where they are for quite a while.
Finally, I mentioned the big dip in the markets. Do you think that was just a knee-jerk reaction to what is going on?
Yeah, there's a couple of things impacting the market. Last week, we saw earnings from a lot of the tech companies being digested by the market. But yesterday's reaction was, the hope that these tariffs wouldn't get imposed. And now that they were, it was a knee-jerk reaction to that. The market will be just fine, but the market tends to react to things that they don't like to try to send a message to the administration. And they certainly sent a message yesterday.
Indeed. All right, Mitch Roschelle, as always, thank you, sir.
You bet. Great to see you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.